Okay. What you are finding here is basically the development of the arch arteries. So these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 arch arteries in the very beginning. Now these are interconnected to what we call as the two dorsal aorta. So this is one dorsal aorta, this is another dorsal aorta. The two dorsal aortas are basically meeting here and then they are forming the common trunk. Now we all know that the fifth one will obliterate. So let's forget about the fifth one. So if you're talking about the first, remnant persists as a very small artery of the maxillary. Second, this also degenerates, a very small part of it is persisting as the stapedial artery. Now if you're talking about the third and the fourth, basically these on the left side, that is on this side, they contribute to the formation of the arch and the common carotid and the internal carotid arteries, whereas on the right side they actually take part in formation, that is the fourth take parts in formation of the subclavian artery, whereas the third takes part in formation of the common carotid with a part of the internal carotid arteries. Now we move on to our sixth arch artery derivative. Now this is very important because the sixth arch artery, if we compare this one with this one, what we find is, first let us remember this, that our sixth arch artery is basically divided into two parts like this. So there is a portion which is the proximal part and there is a portion which is the distal part. The proximal part of the sixth arch artery persists as the pulmonary trunk. So it basically contributes to the formation of the trunk of and the right and the left pulmonary arteries. Now the distal segment. The distal segment on the right side, it degenerates completely, whereas on the left side it will persist as this structure which is referred to as the ductus arteriosus. So the sixth arch artery, the proximal segment on either side persists as the pulmonary branches of the pulmonary trunk, whereas distal segment on the right degenerates, on the left takes part in formation of the ductus arteriosus. Now if we move on to this one, what we find is this particular structure. This particular structure is the vagus nerve, so is this one. So this is the left vagus, this is the right vagus. When we talk about the left vagus, what we find is that it has given off a branch that is called as the recurrent laryngeal nerve. So this particular nerve is the recurrent laryngeal nerve. Similarly, this side vagus has given off this branch which is the right-sided recurrent laryngeal nerve. So this is the left recurrent laryngeal, this is the right recurrent laryngeal. What do we find? The second thing that we find is that our right recurrent laryngeal nerve is hooking around, this is the brachiocephalic, so it is hooking around the brachiocephalic trunk. So basically it is a content of the neck itself, it does not go beyond the neck. So the right recurrent laryngeal nerve is hooking around a derivative of the fourth, that is the part of the brachiocephalic. Now if you go to the left side, what are we finding? That on the left side the recurrent laryngeal nerve is hooking around the ductus arteriosus. This particular ductus arteriosus, as we know, is a derivative from the distal part of the left sixth arch artery. So the recurrent laryngeal nerve is stopped in its ascent by this particular blood vessel which is the ductus arteriosus. Now it is for this particular reason that we always come across the left recurrent laryngeal nerve in the region of the neck. Sorry, this one is the left, so this is present in the thoracic region because it is hooking around the ductus arteriosus, which is a communication between the pulmonary trunk and the aorta. So it is present in relation with the heart in the thoracic cavity. But if you're talking about this one, that is the right, as because there is nothing developing from the distal part of the right sixth arch artery, hence the ascent of the right recurrent laryngeal is not stopped at the level of the pulmonary trunk, rather it goes above, it ascends, and eventually it is held down by this structure, that is the brachiocephalic. Okay, or in some books it is also writing that it is a subclavian, it is hooking around on this side, that is on the right side. So even if it is subclavian or it is this particular structure, so remember one thing, that this is present in the neck. Okay, it is actually present in the neck, whereas the left recurrent laryngeal is a content of the thoracic cavity, and you have understood why is it so. Thank you.